Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. This video will serve as a warning because I've noticed that a number of what I would consider to be the very best chart analysts in all of crypto are warning that we could see a rather precipitous drop. I mean, we're talking about Bitcoin potentially into the 50,000s, maybe the lower 50,000s. You can imagine what that would mean for altcoins, including XRP, which, you know, if you look at the XRP BTC pair, most people would think it's not looking too hot. Now, I take that, as I've been articulating recently, I look at that as a positive because that always happens right before things ultimately get hot and finally take off here. But I say this certainly not to alarm anybody or scare anybody, because I will tell you that even if this happens, these analysts, even though they do at this time, believe that is what's most probable. None of them think that's the end of the bull run. So I want to say that, you know, at the outset of this video, so just to be clear, because I don't want anybody to be scared if it's not necessary, right? You know what I mean? This is not something to worry about. And then, to be, truth be told, though, if you're someone like me and your time horizon is however long it takes, no matter what, well, that's another reason to not be scared. Like, for me, the time horizon is whatever. Like, literally, like, let's say this were the top of the market and that's all she wrote, which I don't believe for a moment is most probable, not at all. But let's say that were the case. I just keep holding. Check back in another 4 years down the road. Okay, fine, whatever it takes, and I'll still be here, hanging out in the community, making YouTube videos, because I have fun even in bear markets. But that's not where we are. That's the good news. But yes, there is a very real concern from, like I said, some of the most reputable analysts out there that we could see a serious move to the downside. So I want to arm you with the knowledge so that if it happens, which is not guaranteed, at least you'll know, okay, this is in the cards. Potentially, at least, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It doesn't mean the sky is falling. If anything, for those who wish to accumulate, they may view it as, you know, an opportunity. In fact, that's how I'd be looking at it on a personal level. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. At the time I'm recording this video, it is 2:02 a.m. Central Time, Friday, April 12th, 2024. I'm still going to pretend it's Thursday, though, because it is not the next day until I go to sleep. That's how we run things on the Moon Lambo channel, because it's my channel, damn it, and I do what I want. But at the time I'm recording this, XRP is 61 cents. Bitcoin's a little over $71,000. You got the Crypto Fear and Greed Index at 79 out of 100. Y'all some greedy sons of bitches. But is it going to stay like that? Well, that number is going to drop potentially into neutral if things go as low as, you know, I've seen some numbers bandied about. Like, here, let's talk about what Credible Crypto had to say first, because I'd consider him top shelf. Like, like, his level of accuracy when it comes to what is most probable, it's just off the charts. There's a reason that he has the following he has of, what, 387,200 followers on social media platform X. I'd say well-deserved. Real humble guy on top of that, real nice dude. And he's been calling for the stuff that we've been seeing unfold here for forever. I mean, at the depths of the bear market in 2022, he's like, no, this is where you should start getting really, really bullish. And he was right. He's one of the few that was calling for that. And he took a lot of flack for it, but he was right. And here we are. And so the other day, April 10th, he shared this post. Now, this one I shared in a video, but I've got two from him. This one I want to repeat just in case you missed it, because he was already urging a bit of caution. He went a little bit more in depth, though. And so the idea of Bitcoin potentially getting into the 50,000, certainly not off the table. Now, again, even if that happens, and I understand that what that's going to mean for XRP and everything else, market just craters for a while, not the end of the world. Been through many of those before. I've been here over 6 years, been through plenty of that crap. But anyway, here's what he wrote on April 10th in the evening at 7:12 p.m. In terms of Bitcoin, nothing has changed from prior low time frame updates. That is, I still think we are headed for the highs, but recent price action has only further confirmed to me that this move is corrective, a ranging environment, and not impulsive, which would be a trending environment. Which means a move above the highs should be viewed through a lens of caution for now. And so even if we do hit yet another all-time high, based on what he's seen in the charts, and he's gone to great lengths on his platform to explain why. And if you want the full details, like he's putting out all sorts of video content. I just want to share with you key ideas and perspectives from multiple analysts because I think there's value in that as well. But if you really want to get into the nitty gritty, follow him on X, check him out on YouTube. He's fantastic. He does a great job of articulating everything that and he stands behind what he says. And again, it's when you're talking about chart analysis, again, I want to reiterate this. It's not about certainty. It's about probability of outcome. He's not 100% convinced this is going to happen, but he does think what's most probable is a major move to the downside, which is why when he warned this here, even if it starts going higher, be cautious. And then he added this post. This was in the morning, April 11th today. Next big move will be brutal, in my opinion. But you get past that, and you'll get to enjoy up only, the likes of which you haven't seen in over 3 years. I have my plan ready. Now I just need to execute when the time is right. And mind you, Credible Crypto has been in bull mode since the bottom of the bear market after FTX collapsed. And he's been right. Broadly speaking, he's been one of the most accurate analysts out there. So again, it's not a foregone conclusion. It's not a certainty that this is going to happen. And it wouldn't even be, in my mind, scary if it did happen. But yeah, the people are going to be flipping out. They will be losing their ever-loving minds if this happens. And this stuff has historically played out in crypto markets before, many times, even in bull markets. So even if Bitcoin gets into the 50,000s and everything else starts tanking, okay, fine. You know who else is thinking that type of move is most probable? Is another one of the best analysts in all of crypto, happens to be very pro XRP, and my fellow XRP YouTuber, the Blockchain Backer. And he's got 2 charts on the screen right now. On the top, this is the entire crypto asset class, excluding just Bitcoin and ETH. So every other altcoin that exists, but not ETH and also not Bitcoin. And he's showing what he thinks is going to play out. And I'll read what he posted in just a second and elaborate on this. And then on the bottom, he's got just a Bitcoin price chart priced in United States dollars. And this is in 2017, actually. And he's noting that the chart structure that he is noting played out in 2017, this just happens from time to time in various markets. That's what he's seeing right now. That's what he thinks is going to happen. And not with certainty, but with a certain high level of probability. That's what he thinks is most probable here. And if you want his full explanation about this, he's been talking about this over the last couple days in his videos, and I don't like regurgitating a bunch of TA. I try and stay away from that as much as possible, but I do want to give you some key takeaways, what I thought were a couple key takeaways from what he had to say, as well as sharing specifically what he shared on social media platform X. But he has thoroughly broken this down. He has a great YouTube channel where he fully articulates his ideas, just like Credible Crypto does. Go check it out if you want to get a way more in-depth, because that's not what I'm here to do. But here's what he posted. Market seems like it wants to kill sentiment for a month. First, reduce volatility and cold turkey withdraw the dopamine from memes. Then, capitulate. A chance to spend the next few weeks researching where the trends are happening for if the opportunity comes. And so he's been warning this for at least a couple days or so, at least. He's warning that the entire crypto market cap, is currently in a corrective structure, which has resulted in altcoins, the market's just been trending sideways, right? Just within a pretty narrow band of volatility. And it's just so funny because some of what he said is very similar to what Credible Crypto has said. And so the Blockchain Backer, he expects this chart pattern, to result in a big dip to the downside, which will certainly spook the market and cause massive panic in many people. However, with this corrective structure that he believes we're in, he does not believe that it will ultimately end up, or rather, he does believe that it will ultimately end up recovering to the upside. Which is what happened, by the way. So we shared that Bitcoin chart below. It's the same structure, and he's noting, if you look where he's got this little circle in yellow for those of you guys looking at the screen, it just burst to the upside. So massive correction down here, scared the hell out of everybody, and then right to the upside. And so that's what he's expecting. And that's why he's got these squiggles. It's just a rough idea of what he thinks may happen. Move to the upside and then break ultimately. So, but nonetheless, it's a warning that the market may end up scaring the hell out of a lot of speculators. Although he acknowledges it's impossible to accurately predict how long it will take for this chart formation to play out, if it's going to. But based on the current speed things are unfolding, he did articulate that he thinks maybe it does take another month or so. And he talked about that in this post and also in a recent video I noticed. And so, he also mentioned that if we do end up seeing this crashing structure play out in this chart formation, that is when, so I just said, obviously a bunch of people are going to be scared, but that would be the moment when he even said this publicly. That's when he said he'd be willing to put more money into the market. He said he'd talk about that publicly if he does that. But he's planning to. Because, such a structure, and he noted it's also, it's a crashing structure, but it's part of a continuation structure. The pattern keeps playing out and ultimately bursts to the upside. And, he even said that, this crashing structure does unfold, that he'd actually probably be on board with Brad Garlinghouse's prediction of a $5 trillion market cap for the entire crypto asset class this year. I'm sure many of you heard Brad Garlinghouse's prediction. I talked about it on my channel when he shared it, which sounds pretty plausible to me. Brad Garlinghouse doesn't normally talk like that, but I paid attention since he did. There's a reason that there's such confidence here. But, frankly, if we do see this dip, like I was saying at the outset of the video, I probably will invest more money into crypto if that happens. And look, my bags have been fully packed for years, but I've been buying more at various times, and I've talked about it publicly when I have, and I just do that because, it was cheaper back, in October, November, of course, would have been a better time to buy, broadly speaking, but I'm earning more money and I got to put it somewhere. So just for that reason, if I get an opportunity, okay, but for me to invest more in crypto, I need to be sufficiently enticed, because I'm not of the mindset that I need more, but if it goes down, then I buy into capitulation events. I just do, because I understand that when the market's more fearful, that's typically a good thing, especially given that I do absolutely buy into the idea that we are not near the top of this market cycle. So given that, I'd be willing to put some more money in. And if I do, and I think I will, if this happens, I'll talk about it. Here's a headline from the Daily Hodl. Top analyst says Max Payne scenario coming for Bitcoin, predicts parabolic rally for gold. I'm not going to talk about the gold portion of this, but here's yet another analyst, incredibly popular here, calling for very similar things to what Credible Crypto and the blockchain backroom are talking about. And I just want to say, I haven't seen the reputable analysts that I follow speaking along these lines until very recently, but now that I am seeing this, and it's from reputable sources, that's why I wanted to put out this video, just to warn you, if it happens, it's not likely something we really need to truly worry about. People will be freaking out, but I'm going to be cool as a cucumber, as they say, and buying stuff, back up the damn truck. Anyway, piece reads as follows. A top analyst known for making timely crypto calls warns that Bitcoin may be in the midst of witnessing a painful scenario. Pseudonymous trader Bluntz tells his 254,100 followers on the social media platform X that Bitcoin appears to be flashing an ABC corrective move on the daily chart. Bluntz practices the Elliott wave theory, which states that a bullish asset typically consolidates within an ABC corrective wave after going through a 5-wave uptrend. Here's a quote from him. Max Payne on Bitcoin is take out the highs, make everyone FOMO, fear of missing out, back in, and think it's some kind of triangle breakout, then bam, fade back into the lower end of the range again before the real run-up. End quote. So even if this happens, still a big move to the upside. And so, ask an analyst in terms of how low, like if you ask, how low do you think we're going to go if this happens? You're going to get a different answer if you ask any of them. But it's more about the concept. There's all a little bit different rationale, but it's just fascinating. This is all coming at the same time. They're all seeing something here. And so, if it goes into the mid to low 50,000s, okay. Chart analyst Bluntz here isn't predicting that I've seen that it'll go that low. In fact, he thinks that maybe it goes down to 64,000. So check this out. Based on the trader's chart, he seems to suggest that Bitcoin will soar to $76,000, only to drop to $64,000 before rallying to a new all-time high of $82,000. And so that wouldn't be, that'll scare the hell out of everybody. It wouldn't be as scary as if, you see the 50,000s. I think that'll scare a lot more people. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Now, truth be told, my bags have been packed for so long, I prefer to just go to the upside and get this over with. But I'll still be happy. Like, if the market tanks and we do get into, the 50,000s, then I'll definitely be interested. I don't know for sure if it just goes down to like 64,000. I don't know, maybe. But if it gets into like, you know, around 60,000 or lower than that, then I'll start to be like, well, okay, you're starting to entice me, son. I'll take a look at that. Around 64,000 though, I mean, now that is a big drop. If you're talking going from 76,000 to 64,000 people, oh my God, the amount of fear. It's going to be crazy if that happens. There's also this post from Tech Dev, another very popular for good reason analyst out there. 444,000 followers on social media platform X. And in the evening, he just said, I think, this is a very simple sentence here. He said, I think there is a high probability Bitcoin breaks $100,000 in May. Okay, so plausible. So I don't know that if he does or doesn't buy into this idea of a corrective move to the downside, perhaps sooner than later. But even if it happens, it doesn't change anything on a higher time frame. So the idea of, you know, us witnessing that, even if Bitcoin goes into the 50,000s or something like that, God forbid, the idea of it then breaking up towards $100,000 by next month, it's crypto, folks. Like that does not sound crazy to me. I don't know if it's going to happen. It doesn't sound crazy to me. Now, as far as what all of this might mean for XRP, well, here's the XRP BTC chart on your screen. This is just the 1 month. And so compared to the recent low we had a few days ago, XRP is still safely above it. So even though against the dollar, I think XRP will tank if Bitcoin does, because the whole market's going to move in tandem, it will be really interesting to watch what happens on the XRP BTC chart, because it might be the case that that Bitcoin tanks to a much greater degree, or at least to a little bit of a greater degree. Because in recent weeks, and I highlighted this, Credible Crypto was saying, you know, it was a different scenario before he was calling this specifically, but he seemed very optimistic, at least at the time, which wasn't too long ago, that on the XRP BTC chart, you know, it's time for XRP to be picking up some steam here, and that even if you see a move to the downside, maybe Bitcoin is going to be a lot worse. But we'll just watch. So if this, where I'm circling right now, on the 8th, if that was actually the low, great. But even if it's not, the market will find one and things are going to reverse and take off. But we're more or less in that moment. I know I've been saying that a lot lately because, you know, in the moment, you know, when you're living day to day to day, and then a week passes, and then it's 2 weeks, and then a month has passed, so on and so forth, it feels like, okay, well, you've been saying that forever. When's it going to happen? Okay, but then when you look at a yearly chart, like once this is all said and done, look a year out, and then look at the moment where I'm saying this, it's like a blip on the radar. So it feels like a lot in the moment, but in the scheme of things, it's not, which is why I can safely say that I still firmly believe that, roughly speaking, this time that we're in right now is the moment before XRP takes off, because historically, these have been the parameters that we've been looking for before it does so. That's why I have that level of confidence. So I'm not worried about any of this. I'm excited. Yeah, I'd rather this not happen, but I mean, if Credible Crypto and, you know, the blockchain backer, you know, if they're saying, hey, what's most probable, though not guaranteed, most probable is that you do see a corrective move to the downside, a crashing structure. Well, I'm like, well, damn it then. Maybe that does happen because they have really high hit rates, and nobody's perfect. No analyst is. But I will tell you, they're among the best that we got. So I'm listening, and I wanted to share it with you. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.